All eyes on Doge. Big runner. To the moon. Whew. Doge still going up. All eyes on Doge. Still big runner. To the moon. Keep going up. Going up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Upward movement in Doge. Dogecoin. Up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Upward movement in Doge. Dogecoin. 42.69. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin.
Hey everybody, Kriss here. How's everybody doing on Tuesday? Doing some stable coins with that? How are you all doing on your stablecoin crypto investments? Maybe it wasn't such a great idea to think that the United States government could regulate crypto. Maybe it was better if it was still the Wild West and we could just let crypto go up, let crypto go down, let it crash, let it do whatever. Because the US government, man, taking all the fun out of it is actually what they're doing. Taking all the fun out of it. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. We were enjoying a nice morning. Markets were looking green. Things are going up. Powell had to open his mouth. That kind of crunched the stock market and the crypto market. And then there's this House subcommittee on digital assets talking about stable coins. And you got some old representative there saying, oh, the people in my district, they don't want to deal with any of this digital stuff. They just want their cash. So there we go. That's how we're starting today. How's everybody doing? I'm okay. Doge, we finally got over 25 and a half and we're up to 26 and a half and pushing 27 cents. That was looking pretty good. But no, we're just coming back down. That's what we got. So, and as I said, also, remember that white line on the Bitcoin chart? It had all that leverage down there. Guess what happened? As predicted from yesterday's stream, if you guys remember, KrissPax did say, yeah, Bitcoin's going to drop below 26 or 96. We were up, we were up here at 97, 98. And I was like, yep, it's going to dump. And it did today. Took out all that leverage as predicted. And this Powell comments and all this stablecoin talk was just an excuse, again, for the market makers to dump crypto, take out leverage, and they did that. So we'll look at heat maps in a little bit too and all that's going on. But what we start with, crypto market crash. Now it wasn't a crash. That word is kind of used a little bit too much. We can call it a pullback, a retrace, maybe down a little, but it's not a crash. We've seen crashes. Today's not a crash. But why is Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Doge? Why are they dropping? Well, it's Jerome Powell. So what did Jerome Powell do today? There wasn't an FOMC meeting. No, it was a Jerome Powell testimony before the Senate Banking Committee that happened this morning. And that ended up being pretty bearish for risk assets, of which crypto is, of course, on the top. Powell said, there is no need to hurry to adjust the current economic policy. That is what we consider hawkish, meaning no rate cuts. Now, I told you in March there would not be rate cuts, right? But the market likes to react to stuff like that, despite what KrissPax says. I told you guys, like, yeah, March, no, there's not going to be any rate cuts. Maybe later on in the year. But Powell says something like that, markets start to go down, and then the market makers pounce. They pounce. and they drop the prices to take out the leverage. Rinse and repeat again and again and again. They want to make more progress on inflation before pivoting. Now, what happened in December? They dropped the rates. Was that pressure from Trump? Did they do it just because Trump wanted the rates cut? And so they cut the rate then, but yet put out a bunch of hawkish statements, which ended up tanking the market anyway. Remember that back in December. And now it's just more remarks tank the market. These statements from the Fed chair again highlighted the hawkish stance that the U.S. central bank is currently adopting in terms of its monetary policy. This is bearish for risk assets like Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Doge, since the Fed is unlikely to cut interest rates anytime soon. It is worth mentioning that Powell had some positive remarks for the market, including affirming the central bank's commitment to end debanking. He also revealed that they don't plan on making a central bank digital currency. And of course, they're not going to do that because Trump said we're not making a central bank digital currency. But what they are talking about doing is making a dollar-backed stablecoin. It's pretty close to a central bank digital currency. And of course, that's what David Sachs is looking at. And when he came out last week with his working group, he just talked stablecoin, stablecoin, stablecoin. And so, yeah, that's what is going on. Powell's hawkish speech quickly sparked a wave of sell-offs. The Bitcoin price quickly dropped below the 97,000 support level and is at risk of falling below 95K at the time of this writing. And of course, CoinGlass data shows that over $200 million has been liquidated from the crypto market in the last 24 hours, with long positions taking most of the hit. Again, as predicted by moi. So all of you that were on the stream yesterday, you heard me say, yeah, Bitcoin, it's going to drop below that white line. And it did today. Just needs an excuse. So it looks like we bottomed here at 94,875 on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is now recovering back up because I think they're satisfied, took out enough of the longs there. And we can certainly go look at CoinGlass at the liquidation data because, you know, Jerome Powell is all about the data. Bitcoin, $40 million. ETH, $30 million. Doge, about $6.3 million of liquidations over the last 24 hours. And the total liquidation over the last 24 hours is $220 million. Yeah, pretty close to what the article said. And then, because you guys like to see the heat maps, yeah, sure. It's not pretty. Because the price went all the way down to take out all of that leverage. And they got it. And I posted this on X as well just a little bit ago. But those are those big yellow lines that we saw from yesterday, right at and just under 96K. And just for good measure, they dropped it even further to take out even more leverage down here. So that's what that was about. And we can take a look at Dogecoin, just because we're here. And we will see on the Doge chart. All this leverage. And look at all the shorts piling in here on Doge. As Doge was going down, we got a lot of new shorts up here. All the way down to 25.6 cents liquidation. So it'd be nice if Doge just took all that out. I'm just saying. That would be nice. But we are seeing recovery. Dogecoin came down to about 24.8, now back up over 25 and moving back up. So we will look for recovery as we go forward. What else is going on? Just to touch on a few things. Senator Lummis tells Fed Chair Powell, the Fed made a mess of Silicon Valley Bank and there's a deliberate lack of understanding of the digital asset policy. So there's going to be some back and forth. Of course, Senator Lummis, she gets it. She's been pro-crypto for a long time. But yeah, this whole Chair Powell thing, not great. And then I've got Dan Crypto saying, Kraken just notified me that my FTX funds have been successfully distributed to them. And then I can expect them by next week. So we could have some stimulus coming from those that have been locked out of funds they had on FTX for the last 2.5 years. So maybe there's a little money coming out of that. Some people have their tax returns will be coming in. Maybe they'll put that into crypto. But overall, the kind of this afternoon, I'm feeling not great. Not great. A little bit down. Was expecting something a little better, I guess, but between, I don't know, United States regulations, the task force, all this stuff, and I'm just like, I'm not feeling any love toward cryptocurrency other than Bitcoin for a strategic reserve and some new dollar-backed stable coin. Of course, the PayPal guy was on there, right? The House committee, and he was talking about how PayPal has made their own stable coin and you can already do payments through PayPal using crypto. But, you know, those payments, I mean, I don't think any of that is actually on chain. I don't know what PayPal, I mean, I bought some ETH and some Litecoin on PayPal, and that's not on chain. Just own it on PayPal and I can use it to spend, but that's just coming out of PayPal. I don't see a real chain thing there. I don't know how the PayPal stablecoin works and all that. So, but PayPal's making money, so there's that. But yeah, so that's what we've got. I mean, my video this morning was very, very bullish. But all of those things you just kind of have to wait for right now. So we just got to get through day by day. Now, is Tim Stebbing going to come up with something in 2 weeks that's going to blow our socks off with Dogecoin, such pay, and all that? Let's hope so, because we need it. We need something. Because, yeah, feeling a little hawkish myself right now, I guess. So that's what I've got for today. This is not going to be sunshine and rainbows today. The bears will be out. As Raiden said earlier, we're probably going to have a few bears, the I told you so's and all that. But hey, that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about it. So let's talk about it. What's going on? April's looking good. Sure, Christian. Yep. Buy Bitcoin on the dip. Yep. Why do people use leverage? Wouldn't the natural consensus be to let the natural price action happen? I know, right, Caffeine? Gamblers will be gamblers. A lot of people have been using leverage for a long time, trading crypto, making a lot of money that way. But the market makers, the exchanges have been fighting back. And that's kind of why things go up and down. It isn't generally just all buying and selling. It's manipulated up and down to take care of the shorts, take care of the longs. And we had another bit of that today. JD, when you least expect it, Doge is going to make a big run. And Jared, you're right. They've gone after a lot more of the longs lately than the shorts. We need that spark, right? We need that good news. So the markets can just go flying up and squeeze out all those shorts. And we haven't had that in a while. Not since November. It's not since November. So all that great news about Trump being elected, US president, half of it is worn off. And for many cryptos, all of it has worn off. There are many cryptos that are now lower than they were on November 5th. All gone. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Elon and Trump are talking now. What are Elon and Trump talking about? This might be something worth taking a peek at, right? Trump signs more orders. Oh, yep, there it is.
Good. They can retire, get their retirement payments, everything. And then we were told, this is actually, I think, a great anecdote, because we were told the most number of people that could retire possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, well, why is that? Well, because all the retirement paperwork is manual on paper. It's manually calculated, then written down on a piece of paper. Then it goes down a mine. I'm like, what do you mean a mine? Like, yeah, there's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's like 1,000 people that work on this. So I think if we take those people and say, like, you know what, instead of working in a mine shaft and carrying manila envelopes to boxes in a mine shaft, you could do practically anything else, and you would add to the goods and services of the United States in a more useful way. So anyway, so I think that's an example. Like at a high level, if you say, like, how do we increase prosperity? Is we get people to shift from roles that are low to negative productivity to high productivity roles. And so you increase the total output of goods and services, which means that there's a higher standard of living available for everyone. That's the actual goal. Everyone's very quiet about it. So are people normally this quiet?
Your detractors, Mr. Musk.
I'm to what?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate.
Hey, there's a little X.
The public voted,
Look at him.
We have a majority.
He should do the takeover. Little X.
Won the House, won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, people that don't get what they voted for, but
popcorn, exactly,
they are going to get what they voted for, and that's what democracy is all about.
Mr. Musk, the White House
we
said
got a new emoji.
Try and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are in effect policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the Doge handle on X and to the Doge website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization. So the kind of things we're doing are, I think, very, very simple and basic. They're not, what I mentioned, for example, about Treasury, just making sure that payments that go out, taxpayer money that goes out, is categorized correctly, that the payment is explained, that organizations on the do not pay list, which takes a lot to get there, that actually are not paid, which currently they are paid. These are not individual judgment decisions. These are about simply having sensible checks and balances in the system itself to ensure that taxpayer money is spent well. So it's got nothing to do with, like, say, a contract with some company of mine at all.
But if there is a conflict of interest when it comes to you yourself, for instance, you've received billions of dollars in federal contracts. When it comes to the Pentagon, for instance, which the president I know has directed you to look into.
Yeah.
Are you policing yourself in that? Is there any sort of accountability check and balance in place that would provide any transparency for the American people?
Well, all of our actions are fully public. So if you see anything, you say, like, wait a second, hey, Elon, that seems like maybe that's, that there's a conflict there. It's not like people are going to be shy about saying that. They'll say it immediately.
Including you yourself.
Yes. But transparency is what builds trust, not simply somebody asserting trust. So not somebody saying they're trustworthy, but
I know
transparency.
that black
So
Make America Great Again hat
and
is
they can
great,
see,
isn't
am
it?
I doing something that benefits one of my companies or not? It's totally obvious.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that segment or look in that area. If we thought there was a lack of transparency or a conflict of interest. And we watched that also. He's a big businessman. He's a successful guy. That's why we want him doing this. We don't want an unsuccessful guy doing this. Now, one thing also that Elon hasn't really mentioned are the groups of people that are getting some of these payments. They're ridiculous. And we're talking about billions of dollars that we've already found. We found fraud and abuse. I would say those two words as opposed to the third word that I usually use, but in this case, fraud and abuse. It's abusive because most of these things are virtually made up, or certainly money shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's what Maxine Waters said today, co-president Elon Musk.
So, but we're talking about tens of billions of dollars that we've already found. And now a judge who's an activist judge wants to try and stop us from doing this. Why? And why would they want to do that? I campaigned on this. I campaigned on the fact that I said government is corrupt. And it is very corrupt. It's very, very, it's also foolish. As an example, a man has a contract for 3 months and the contract ends, but they keep paying him for the next 20 years, because nobody ends a contract. You get a lot of that. You have a contract that's a 3-month contract. Now, normally, if you're in a small, and in all fairness, it's the size of this thing is so big.
Yeah.
But if you have a contract and you're in a regular business, you end the contract in 3 months. It's a consult. Here's a contract for 3 months.
I get that, Johnny. We'll talk about
for
that.
20 years. And the guy doesn't say that he got money for 20 years. They don't say it. They just keep getting checks month after month. And you have various things like that. And even much worse than that, actually, much worse. And I guess you call that incompetence, maybe.
Yeah.
It could be corruption. It could be deals made on both sides, where the guy gets the money, he kicks. I think there's a lot of kickback here. I see a lot of kickback here.
There's a lot of kickbacks.
A tremendous kickback, because nobody could be so stupid to give out some of these contracts. So he has to get a kickback. So that's what I got elected for, that and borders and military and a lot of things, but this is a big part of it. And I hope that the court system is going to allow us to do what we have to do. We got elected to among other things, find all of this fraud, abuse, all of this horrible stuff going on. And we've already found billions of dollars, not like a little bit, billions, many billions of dollars. And when you get down to it, it's going to be probably close to $1 trillion. It could be close to $1 trillion that we're going to find. That will have quite an impact on the budget. And you'll go to a judge where they handpick a judge, and he has certain leanings. I'm not knocking anybody for that, but he has certain leanings, and he wants us to stop looking. How do you stop looking? I mean, we've already found it. We have a case in New York where a hotel has paid $59 million, $59 million because it's housing migrants, illegal migrants. All illegal, I believe.
And they were being paid twice the normal room rate at 100% occupancy.
Unbelievable.
So it's a racket.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Well, if I may sort of just going for the president's comments, at a high level, okay, well, what are the two ingredients that are really necessary in order to cut the budget deficit in half from 2 trillion to 1 trillion? And it's really two things: competence and caring. And if you add competence and caring, you'll cut the budget deficit in half. and I fully expect to be scrutinized and get a daily proctology exam, basically. Might as well just camp out there. So it's not like I think I can get away with something. I'll be scrutinized nonstop. But with support of the president, we can cut the budget deficit in half from 2 trillion to 1, and then with deregulation, because there's a lot of sort of regulations that don't ultimately serve the public good. We need to free the builders of America to build, and if we do that, that means I think you get the economic growth.
Little X, what are you doing?
5%.
Ooh.
That means you can get $1 trillion economic growth. You cut the budget deficit by $1 trillion. Between now and next year, there is no inflation. There's no inflation in 26. And if the government is not borrowing as much, it means that interest costs decline. So everyone's the mortgage, their car payment, their credit card bills, anything, their student debt, the monthly payments drop.
He's digging in there.
That's a fantastic scenario for the average American. I mean, imagine they go down the grocery aisle and the prices from one year to the next are the same, and their mortgage, all their debt payments dropped. How great is that for the average American?
We had
That's
no
great.
idea. We had no idea we were going to find this much, and it's open. It's not like complicated. It's
not that
simple stuff.
complicated.
It's
a
like
lot of work.
you can't believe it. A lot of work, a lot of smart people involved. Very, very smart people. But you're talking about anywhere maybe 500 billion. It's crazy the kind of numbers you're
It's really
talking
crazy.
about. Normally when you're looking at something, you'll find you're looking for 1 out of 100. Here you're almost reversing it. You look for one that's good.
Yeah.
And you can look at the title and you say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And the public gets it.
Egg prices are tied to the bird flu and the killing of a bunch of. It's not. It has nothing to do with this. Google superstar.
Yeah, go ahead. Wait, go ahead.
Senator Rand Paul today said that Doge cuts will ultimately need a vote in Congress. Do you agree with that? Is that the
I
plan?
really don't know. I know this. We're finding tremendous fraud and tremendous abuse. If I need a vote of Congress to find fraud and abuse, it's fine with me. I think we'll get the vote, although there'll be some people that wouldn't vote. And how could a judge want to hold us back from finding all of this fraud and finding all of this incompetence? Why would that happen? Why would even Congress want to do that? Now, Congress, if we do need a vote, I think we'd get a very easy vote because we have a track record now. We've already found billions of dollars of abuse, incompetence, and corruption. A lot of corruption.
If a judge does block one of your policies, part of your agenda, will you abide by that ruling? Will you
Well,
comply?
I always abide by the courts, and then I'll have to appeal it. But then what he's done is he slowed down the momentum. And it gives crooked people more time to cover up the books. If a person's crooked and they get caught, other people see that, and all of a sudden it becomes harder later on. So, yeah, the answer is I always abide by the courts, always abide by them, and will appeal. But appeals take a long time, and I would hope that a judge, if you go into a judge and you show him, here's a corrupt situation, we have a check to be sent, but we found it to be corrupt. Do you want us to send this corrupt check to a person, or do you want us not to give it and give it back to the taxpayer? I would hope a judge would say, don't send it, give it back to the taxpayer.
Yeah, if I can add to that, what we're finding is that a bunch of the fraud is not even going to Americans. So I think we can all agree that if there's going to be fraud, it should at least go to Americans. But a bunch of the fraud rings that are operating in the United States and taking advantage of the federal government, especially in the entitlements programs, are actually foreign fraud rings. They're operating in other countries and actually exporting money to other countries. We should stop that. And this is big numbers. Talk about $100 to $200 billion a year. Serious money.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact check this, apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct this statement? It wasn't sent to Hamas actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you're saying.
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really an enormous number of condoms, if you think about it. But if it went to Mozambique instead of Gaza, I'm like, okay, that's not as bad.
I know, right, Jeff?
Why are we doing that?
Mr. Musk, can you talk a little bit about how closely you're working with agency heads as you're directing these cuts? Do they have how much input do agency heads have when you're making these decisions?
Yeah, we work closely with the agency heads, there are sort of checks in place. So it's not just us just going in and doing things willy-nilly. It's in partnership with the agency heads, and I check frequently with the president to make sure that this is what the president wants to have happen. So we talk almost every day, and I double check things to make sure, is this something, Mr. President, you want us to do this? Then we'll do it.
USAID has been one of your main targets. Are you concerned at all that some of the cuts or that shutting that agency altogether may lead to diseases or other bigger problems starting in other countries that then come to the United States?
Yeah, so that's an interesting example. So that's something where we work closely with the State Department and Secretary Rubio. And we have, for example, turned on funding for Ebola prevention and for HIV prevention. Yes, correct. And we are moving fast, so we will make mistakes, but we'll also fix the mistakes very quickly. So
do you see it as a worthy cause, USAID?
I think that there's some worthy things, but overall, if you say what was the bang for the buck, I would say it was not very good. And there was far too much of what USAID was doing was influencing elections in ways that I think were dubious and do not stand the light of day.
I'm going to ask a follow-up to the Pentagon contracts. If you have received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, and the president's directing you to look into the Department of Defense, is that a conflict of interest?
Are going to do at the president's request.
Does that present a conflict of interest for you?
No, because you'd have to look at the individual contract and say, first of all, I'm not the one, filing the contract. It's people at SpaceX or someone who will be putting for the contract. And I'd like to say, if you see any contract where where it was awarded to SpaceX and it wasn't by far the best value for money for the taxpayer, let me know, because every one of them was.
The president said the other day that you might look at treasuries. Could you explain that a little bit? What kind of fraud, and that question goes to both of you, what kind of fraud are you expecting to see or do you see right now in U.S. treasuries?
I think you mean the Treasury Department as opposed to Treasury bills, or
you also referenced treasuries on Air Force One the other night.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, really the first order of business is to make sure we're actually collecting. Sorry for this. I thought my son might enjoy this, but he's sticking his fingers in my ears and stuff. So it's been hard to hear sometimes. Hey, sometimes. The stuff we're doing with the Treasury Department is so basic that you can't believe it doesn't exist already. So for example, like I mentioned, just making sure that when a payment goes out, it has to have a payment categorization code. It's like, what type of payment is this? You can't just leave the field blank. Currently, many payments, the field is left blank. And you have to describe what's the payment for, some basic rationalization. That also is left blank. So this is why, the Pentagon, when's the last time the Pentagon passed an audit? I mean, a decade ago, maybe? Ever? Really? And we want to just, in order to actually pass audits, you have to have financial information that allows you to trace the payments. And once in a while, the Treasury has to pause payments if it thinks the payment is going to a fraudulent organization. If a company or organization is on a do not pay list, we should not pay it. I'm sure you would agree. Like, if it's quite hard to get on that payment, the do not pay list, it means that this is someone that is like dead people, terrorists, known fraudsters, that kind of thing. We should not pay them. But currently we do, which is crazy. We should stop that.
many transactions. And by the way, hundreds, thousands of transactions like that. You know, we have a big team. And for the sake of the country, I hope that the person that's in charge and the other people that report to me that are in charge are allowed to do the right thing, namely make sure everything's honest, legitimate, and competent. But we're looking at just, when you look at USAID, that's one. We're gonna look at the military, we're gonna look at education. They're much bigger areas. But the USAID is really corrupt. I'll tell you, it's corrupt. It's incompetent and it's really corrupt. And I can't imagine a judge saying, well, it may be corrupt, but you don't have the right. You got elected to look over the country and to, as we say, make America great again, but you don't have the right to go and look and see whether or not things are right that they're paying or that things are honest that they're paying. And nobody can even believe this. Other people, law professors, they've been saying, how can you take that person's right away? You're supposed to be running the country, but we're not allowed to look at who they're paying it to and what they're paying. We have massive amounts of fraud that we caught. I think we probably caught way over a lot of billions of dollars already in 2 weeks?
Yes.
And it's going to go to numbers that you're not going to believe. And much, as I said, much is incompetence and much is dishonesty. We have to catch it. And the only way we're going to catch it is to look for it. And if a judge is going to say you're not allowed to look for it, that's pretty sad for our country. I don't understand how it could even work.
Program, can you personally guarantee that?
Which one?
The buyout program, the offer to federal workers. Can you personally guarantee that the workers who opt in to resign now will be paid through
Well,
September?
they'll get their money, but they're getting a good deal. They're getting a big buyout. And what we're trying to do is reduce government. We have too many people. We have office space. It's occupied by 4%. Nobody's showing up to work because they were told not to. And then Biden gave them a 5-year pass, some of them, 48,000 of them, gave them a 5-year pass that for 5 years, you don't have to show up to work. And let me tell you, this is largely, much of this stuff is because of Biden. It's his fault. He allowed this country, what he did on our border. What he did on our
Back to the border.
is almost not as bad as what he did with all of these contracts that have come out. It's a very sad day when we look at it. I can't even believe it. But many contracts just extend and they just keep extending, and there was nobody there to correct it. And that cannot be, I can't imagine that could be held up by the court. Any court that would say that the president or his representatives, like Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of State, whatever, doesn't have the right to go over their books and make sure everything's honest. I mean, how can you have a country? You can't have anything that way. You can't have a business that way. You can't have a country that way. Hey, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Mark Fogle will be at the White House tonight at about 10 o'clock. If you want to come over, you can say hello to him.
Did you guys get anything in return?
Not much. No, they were very nice. We were treated very nicely by Russia, actually. I hope that's the beginning of a relationship where we can end that war and millions of people can stop being killed. They've lost millions of people. They lost, in terms of soldiers, probably 1.5 million soldiers in a short period of time. We got to stop that war. And I'm interested primarily from the standpoint of death. We're losing all those soldiers. And they're not American soldiers, they're Ukrainian and Russian soldiers. But you're probably talking about 1.5 million. I think we got to bring that one to an end. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for moving.
10 o'clock tonight at the White House.
And that was the tape.
Wow. So that was interesting. Elon doing his work, right? That's what the vote was for Trump, was to make America great again. And Trump said he was going to look into this stuff, and he's doing it. And the Democrats are fighting him every step of the way, like they would. It's all politics, right? A lot of it is for show, for politics. But I mean, as Trump said right there, it's like a judge says that the head of an agency can't even look at their own agency's books. What? What? You're supposed to run the agency, and then you can't do anything. So it's all politics. It'll get played out, as Trump said, right? Hey, if a judge rules against what they're doing, they'll just appeal it, and then it'll just get bogged up in the courts. But trying to save the United States $1 trillion, and we already have evidence that they're finding so much waste and fraud and abuse. That should be a good thing, and everybody in the country should want that, instead of sending all this money overseas, particularly. But there's a lot of stuff within our country too that we need to fix. And Elon and his team are finding that stuff. So despite what you think about Elon Musk, he and his team are like working their asses off, and they're finding all of this stuff, and they're being transparent about it. You just go to @Doge on X and you just see all the stuff they're listing. As they find stuff, they put it there. So that should be good for the US economy, which in turn would help the crypto markets, as you would think, right? And eventually he's going to get to taxes, and he's going to start cutting taxes. So all this fear about tariffs and things is going to have the light at the end of the tunnel, which is going to be cutting taxes. Because Trump is going to do that. He campaigned on that as well. That's going to be coming. So, but yeah, I mean, he hit the ground running, and the amount of change that we've seen in not even 4 weeks has just been amazing. What has happened. And the Dems, they've been trying to catch up. And I think they just need to keep pressing, because I think that's good. And regardless of whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent, you should want the Doge team finding waste, fraud, and abuse. Don't blame the messenger. Don't blame the messenger. Blame the system and fix the system. That's my take on that. Now, what does that mean for crypto? Well, we still have the Fed, right? And we still have these subcommittees that just aren't going to get it with crypto. They're not going to get it. We may still get a strategic Bitcoin reserve out of this, which will help Bitcoin. What's going to happen with these ETFs for these others? Ethereum already has an ETF. What's going to happen with these others? The SEC, as I said this morning, Litecoin and Doge are looking like those probably have a really good chance. XRP and Solana, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But Doge should be clear. It's a commodity. Hasn't been officially deemed one, but it's the same makeup as Bitcoin. And same with Litecoin. Totally decentralized, unlike our friends over at XRP and our other friends over at Solana, not decentralized. So we'll see. Overall, we still have good things coming ahead for Doge. I know there's a lot of bears out there who just think it's down, 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 but Doge is going to get affected by Bitcoin and the markets. And the markets were spooked by a lot of the language coming out of Powell. And a lot of people asking, where does the liquidity come from? Where does the money come from to buy up crypto and get these prices going up? I mean, we saw it in November, December. I mean, Doge was up at 48 cents. Someone was buying a lot of Dogecoin. But there's been a lot of selling as the price has gone down because of the doom and gloom, right? Bears out there saying, I'm dropping out of this. But that could come back and it could turn around. So that's what we're hoping for. So yeah, when drill, baby drill, he's working on that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in play, particularly the Gulf of America, right? And Canada and all of that playing out. That'll be interesting. Only way to save America, convert US dollars, gold, etc. to Bitcoin and Doge. Yeah, but that goes against Trump wanting to have a strong US dollar too. So, Max, thank you for the support. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Again, keeping it real here as much as we can. Keeping it real. It's humanity, Johnny. Me versus you, us versus them. I get that. What's going on with Binance? Dumping everything. They are dumping everything. I don't know what you mean, Ali. Binance dumping everything. Are you talking about like leverage trading and market makers? Not quite sure. Trump just signed the energy executive order 3 weeks ago. It's going to take at least a year. Probably. That's true. Yep. All leads to tax cuts. It's coming. The tax cuts will come. It's going to take a little while to get there, but they'll be coming. Drill, baby, drill. Now there's a lot of, yeah, Bruce, Saturday at noon, all hostages need to be released. None of this onesie twosie thing, right? Be interesting to see how that comes out. How do you balance the budget with tax cuts? You eliminate unneeded spending. You don't need as much coming in if you stop wasting and spending so much money. That's what you do. And on top of that, obviously, you want to make more money for the country, and that's what the tariff is for. If you're going to sell foreign goods here in the United States, it's just going to cost more. Does that pass it on to the consumer? Well, for those consumers that want to pay that, it's like an elective tax. You choose to buy a foreign good instead of American-made good. You do have a choice. And if you don't have a choice, then you have a choice of whether you really need that foreign thing or not. And we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. We had this whole thing about, like, we're talking Canada and Mexico. It's like, of those two countries, is there something that those countries particularly make that Americans need to have? And nobody came up with anything. So, beautiful hockey weather here in Massachusetts. Yep. It's wintertime, middle of February. Pooh. What else going on, guys? Binance is dumping their reserves. Interesting. I haven't heard that. Binance reserves. See what's going on here. Binance sold 94% of its Bitcoin reserves, 99% of ETH, 99% of Sol in January. Though these were profits, not customer funds. And of course, George just copied it completely and didn't even credit Cointelegraph. Yeah, but that's George. Ignore the FUD. Binance have not sold their reserves. This comes out more recently. So maybe it isn't true. What does Marty Party say? Based on Binance proof of reserves they themselves own. That's an older tweet. Binance's new proof of reserves data is wild. I don't know. It seems to be all over the map here. They term it as treasury adjustments. Something going on there. Binance did sell some reserves, but not all, just a portion. User funds remain safe as always. Sold excess reserves of top coins. I don't know what all that means, but apparently there's a little bit of fact finding still needs to be done there. Bob says, Trump has grown on me, but I'm Canadian first. Well, it comes down to economics, Bob. And the United States was facing bankruptcy under the Democratic leadership. That's true. And someone had to put a stop to it, and someone had to carry a big stick, and Trump is doing that. And we, the American people, voted for that. Unfortunately, there's still a big part of America that's left-leaning and Democrat, and they're just going to yell and scream and kick and scream all the way. But hey, you lost the vote this time. It'll be interesting to see, Gabriel, what happens and whether lawsuits follow with some of these individuals that knew the waste and the fraud was going on and did nothing about it, or actually influenced it and caused it to happen. That could still come. Yeah, Crow coin, a lot of people talking like going to $1 or even more, and I'm like, I don't see it. Again, this isn't the type of market like it was in 2021, and I don't think you're going to have an exchange coin run up that much. Crow sitting at it's under 10 cents right now. So I was topping out maybe at 30 cents this run. We'll see. But that was what I've been talking about. I know, Raiden, right? Little X was just digging in there, wasn't he? Right in the Oval Office. You can't make this stuff up, right? Little X was digging. Hello, Mr. Palmer. How are you? Doge is more fun with green candles. Well, let's get back up over 25.5 here. Now it's acting as resistance again. It's like, get out of here with this. Let's get going back up. Now we're going to be like hitting our heads on this white line again. Even if you half the budget, you're not paying down the deficit. Well, again, I mean, that's the whole Bitcoin reserve part of this, Johnny. That's the whole Bitcoin reserve angle that they're trying to get at. And using that. Are there any liberal Dogecoin channels? Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Should you sell Jasmy for Doge? I don't know. I mean, when it comes to like switching coins and things, it doesn't always have to be all or nothing. Maybe half. So you're still in the Jasmy game. Just think about that maybe. But if you're like heavy into Jasmy and Jasmy still hasn't gone on a run yet, I still think it will. It's just, it's down. I mean, everything else is down though too. 2.2 cent Jasmy. Yeah. Anyway, think about that. Musk is live himself. George was talking about Binance this morning. Yeah, he was probably just going off that data, and now it's turning out it may not be completely true. But George doesn't research any of it. He just reads the articles. Yes, Ray. What I said in the beginning, spot on. Crypto is not crypto anymore with government interference. The governments are going to do what the governments are going to do. And we may lose a lot of the excitement, a lot of the volatility too. I mean, with that, you end up not having huge, dumps in price. But then with that, we may see a lot of the alts just kind of fade away. I would like to see regulation on like pump.fun and crap like that and get those tokens out of here. one of my tweets on, the Dogecoin ETF, all of a sudden I get this group of people from some new token called the Doge ETF token. And it's just like, we did not need a new token. We did not need another. You don't need a Doge ETF crappy, meaningless token. It doesn't do anything. Oh, it supports the ETF. You just buy Dogecoin. You just buy Dogecoin. We don't need an ETF, Doge ETF token. Dumb. Just people trying to make money. The tariff could mean the opposite in the long term. Max, there's always a chance of that, but from what I've seen, it's like, make aluminum here. Make your steel here. We've got steel plants. We've got aluminum plants. Make them work. When's the alt season going to start? Not June. That's summertime. And you're not going to see alt season in summertime. Hey, Salon, thank you for the super chat. What's your thought on MOG? I'm not a MOG follower, but you did send a super chat. MOG 0.000008. That's a lot of zeros. So we'll just call it 84 right now, minus all the zeros. It did gain another zero though on this downfall. So from December to now, down 78%. So are you interested in buying more of this? Or are you still just hodling on thinking it's going to come back? Because that 80% drop is pretty big. Like a lot of alts. Like I said, many of them are all the way back down to November 5th. This one is even lower than it was November 5th before the big run on crypto. When you see that, you're just like, that's pretty bad. Do you buy some of this? MOG to a penny, right? That's the next question. When's MOG going to hit a penny? Exactly right. I don't know. If you're not a fan of this and you're just going to throw some money at it thinking it's going to go crazy, that's gambling. You can try it maybe with a little bit, but that's a huge drop. In the middle of a bull market, you're going to have an 80% pullback. Not a great looking chart. And there's a lot of coins, tokens that are like that have dropped that much. And I'm not just bad mouthing MOG. There's a bunch of them that did that. Juan, back from the casino, lost more money. Exactly. Oh. The Democrats, they never stop kicking and screaming even when they're in power. I didn't vote for an increase in defense budget spending while cutting essential support services. Essential. So they'll work out parts of US aid and figure out how to continue that effort. They're not just going to cut. They're going to pause and they're going to figure it out. That's what they're saying. They're going to pause and they're going to figure it out. If there's essential things that the United States is paying for that the United States taxpayers believe is essential, then that'll start back up. It's all the waste and the other stuff. Right? Susan, you bought some Bitcoin. It works a lot like that, right? What happened? Exactly, Oliver. What happened? What happened? Well, I started talking about Fed Chair Powell and these subcommittees. politics. It's just really not helping crypto right now. I know, I saw that too. The shrimp on the treadmill thing. Or the transgender opera, or whatever that was, in some other country. Do we really need to spend our taxpayer dollars on a transgender opera in some country? No, not in any country. Right? See what they're actually cutting. Less government. Yeah, take it down to the state level. It needs to go down to the state level. How long are we going to keep going sideways? Well, jokes, that could be a while. It could still be a while. We could go through March kind of doing this game because there's just, I know Doge still has this opportunity in a couple weeks, and I hope it's a big thing, but we don't know yet. VP is talking about Biden. That's weird. That was so last year. Once ETH starts pumping, Jasmine will follow. Yeah, and Pepe and She, maybe some others. Could be. Hey, Aussie, how are you? You get what you vote for. Short-term pain, long-term gain. I agree with that. VP supported Biden on stream. Interesting. What does a liberal Dogecoin look like? Well, there were the purple Pepes. Remember them? Remember the purple Pepes that were in the stream here a number of months ago? All the purple Pepes. Whenever I drive by SpaceX, I want to yell, "Help us, Elon." Work for the state. We have a superintendent that makes $545,000. Oh. Crypto the Conqueror. Are we there yet? Where are we going? Yes, the whole leverage thing. It's like, do we really need leverage? Why is that even a thing? I agree. Why is that even a thing? Just buy it or sell it. You can swing trade, you can buy and sell and buy and sell, but why does there have to be leverage trading? Why does there have to be shorting? They say, oh, shorts, yeah, that helps make the market. No, it doesn't. You don't need shorts. People betting on the price to go down. Just sell it if you don't like it. You buy and you sell. That creates the price. If more people buy than sell, the price goes up. Not going to happen. Peak is down like 70% too from its high. I agree. I still think, AR, that there is some like blockchain technology that's going to come out of this that's actually going to be really good for the future. I mean, Elon's talking about it with the Treasury Department, maybe, right? Put all our payments on a blockchain. That's pretty cool. The Dave Portnoy thing with this jail stool, it's dumb. It's just another one of those stupid, dumb tokens that should never have been made. I think after the March FOMC, give it a few weeks, because the one after that isn't for a while. And crypto could still go on a run. But that's tough. ADA has been showing some good promise. It's up 10% today. It was up over 80 cents here a little bit ago. But then dumped this afternoon when everything else dumped with Jerome. Coming back nicely. Every time Jerome Powell opens his mouth. So you can short the market before Powell opens his mouth, right? And you can make money. How big of a drop, Peter? I mean, just every time it starts to get some momentum, something comes along and just drops it. Rinse and repeat. Yeah, I know that bull run has not been around lately. What is Pepe down to now? I haven't even seen it. It's still in the 9s. It did drop a little lower back here. It hit just below 9. But yeah, that's down quite a bit overall. The pump is coming. We've got somebody who's got some optimism. Jason does his part, his daily buying of Doge. On chain, not OTC. Peak. I always said it's going to be a long-term thing for peak. And then people give me crap about saying it's a long-term thing. And I keep saying that. And I'm just like, because it's true. All eyes on Doge. We need to Doge the healthcare industry. It'll be interesting to see how far that kind of thing goes, right? Thank you, Max. Appreciate it. They like to talk about the free market, but they do everything they can to rein it and control it, especially the government. I mean, all that stuff Gary Gensler was doing in the SEC, it's like, man, really? During a bear market, I got it. But during the bull market, alts should be a lot higher than they are right now. Hey, Toss, worry about Elon being so involved? You think Trump will turn on him? I don't. There's a lot of FUD out there about Trump and Elon, and none of it's true. I mean, you just saw it right there in that press conference. As long as Elon keeps finding all this waste, fraud, and abuse, Trump is all for it. Keep it going. Is this normal? Down, up, more, down, little up, more down. Yep, this is normal. We typically don't see this in the middle of a bull market, though, for this long. So it's like 2 whole months of like more down than up, with a couple big drops thrown in there. Yeah, Lil X. Lil X right there in the Oval Office, digging deep in his nose. Trump token to $50. That'd be nice, but man, you talk about something else that tanked. The Trump token. $15.50. So it dropped here on the Sunday drop. It hit 14, not quite $14. And then earlier today, 15.2. But yeah, you look overall at this thing and it's like, that's not a great chart. There's like no momentum on Trump token with this. all this excitement, all this crazy buying. I mean, it must be like 80% of Trump token holders are in the red, maybe more. Not a great chart. $50. Wow. You never know. Daily candle. It's trying to get there, JJR. Doge. Democrats officially getting exposed. The odds are that Musk and Trump will have a falling out. Well, I mean, Trump committed, Elon committed to a year and a half, to July of 2026 of working on this. So doesn't have to go the full 4 years. How's our giveaway portfolio doing? Yeah, it's hanging in there. Let's see, 34,820. So again, for those that don't know, this was a portfolio I started in the summer of 2023. I invested $10,000. And it's still in the positive, $34,000. So we got $24,000 of profit in this. There's all the Doge. The 75,000 Doge I'm still giving away next month. I'm going to give it away regardless. I thought I would be giving it away at the top of the bull market, thinking we'd have some big run in the spring, but I'm just going to give it away to you guys. I didn't want to give it away when the price was really low. You guys would be all disillusioned. You just sell. I wanted to, maybe we'll have some big green candles. But I'm committed. We're doing it. And we'll make it fun as well. Everything we do here is kind of fun. But yeah, the Bitcoin, XRP, Jasmy, Algo, ETH, yeah, I still own all of this too. And I'm going to keep this through the bull market, maybe through the fall. This is what's going to pay my capital gains tax. I need it to go up to help pay my capital gains tax for the house money. Doge to the moon. Powell not going to make it. Right, Nathan? And GMI. Peas and carrots. Mining Pepe. Mining Pepe. You're believing in Doge Elon Mars. Good luck. Good luck. I hope I'm on the live when the God candle appears to Rooster. I hope I am. Those are the great streams when it's just price going up, up, up. We've had tastes of that every now and then, especially back in November. Those were great live streams. Trump to buy 420 Doge every day. Then you get the price every day of whatever it is. Not a bad way to do it. Yeah, that whole thing with the Trump token and then the Melania token, that was tough. Trump token not going to run again. That's what a lot of people think. No, Cohen, I didn't get my 42 Dogecoin yet. The guy has not appeared. He's in hiding. He's in hiding. So yeah, I don't know. See if he shows up again. It's 42 Dogecoin. It's like, come on, it's like $10, really? Maybe he had a lot more bets out there though on the Chiefs though, and he lost big time. It's the only bet I made on the Super Bowl was right here on the live, 42 Doge. Yep. At least we have more time to save up for snacks, drinks, and tickets to Boston for the dollar Doge party. Yeah, puts it off for a little bit though. Hey, Alina, thanks for the super sticker. Hope you're doing well. Good afternoon, Raul. We will have a members only live stream in March, and we'll go through all the deets. Okay, Peter? Next month. All the deets. Trump hasn't gotten into the whole tax thing yet. It can't be an executive order. He's got to go through Congress because it's taxes. He can't do taxes with an executive order. Do you see a top in October? I see a lot of people calling top in March. I see a lot of people calling top as last December. So it's all over the map. We don't know. Nobody knows. But I'm guessing there's going to be a lot more hype for Dogecoin in the fall, this market, than what's going on right now. We play Russian roulette. And then you got to pay capital gains on the money for the capital gains. Exactly. Exactly. Except it's the next year. If I don't sell until 2026. But yeah, if I sell all of that in 2025, then I also have to pay the tax on those gains. Oh my God. Hey, Greg, thanks for the super chat. When times get tough, shows who you really are. But you get shaken out and stand strong. Believe in crypto. Love for Doge. Like and subscribe, everyone. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. Was there another super chat that I missed? No. Oh, we got Alina earlier too. You doubled up on the super sticker. I missed the first one. Apologize. Thank you. Thank you. Patience. What kind of money would you make elsewhere twiddling your thumbs? It was a nice thought when everything was going up. It was green. November, December, that was beautiful. At least the first half of December. But then when it starts going down, it's like, not making money. We need an emoji of little X picking his DD. Really? Oh, yeah. Does the length of the downward momentum in Doge have any relation to the magnitude explosion? No, not always. It's just whatever's going on. You could have a long sort of sideways thing and then an explosion up, or it could just gradually, you don't know. It'll be different every time. How long have you held your Doge? Since 2021, before the big run started up to 8 cents. We're over 25.5 now, so 26 next. That's not that far away. Get over that hump and then shoot for 27. Could start right now. Ryan Esculio, I remember. Where you been? Where have you been? I've been here hanging out. We're having a good time. The CPI and the PPI, I don't follow those. The markets seem to react to them still, but I'm just like, never buy a range. Buy Toyota. That's what I have. Toyota. dependable, good car. Just give me the word, I got a guy. No. He'll show up because he needs that Doge news. So he needs to come back and he'll show up. I think he just needs a little more time, to let it settle in, adjust. A little more time. Who would have thought a Canadian company would be the next? Well, they're buying Doge, right? Buying Doge. Like and subscribe, everyone. Thank you, Christoph. What would MJ say? I know, right? That guy, I don't know what's going on with him. You have a flat tax, 22%. In the end, between my short-term and long-term combined together, maybe it'll be around that. Something like that. When you sell, you set aside 37%. That would be all short-term, though. A majority of mine was long-term. Still waiting for Callie. Callie hasn't been around lately. See what's going on with that extended all eyes on Doge. Come on, guys. We need a few more likes. A few more likes, guys. And if you're down there and you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button too. We're having fun trying to get through ups and downs, but doing it together. The dollar is going to be a thing, but I don't see it in the near months. And I was never predicting Doge to $1 in the spring. It was more of a fall thing for me for this year. Much different market now than 2021. Raiden with the super chat. Call your guy, we need help. That 42 Doge. And I told you guys yesterday, if I ever get the 42 Doge, I'm turning it around and I'm giving it to you guys. We're going to do maybe 2 giveaways on a live stream. Just going to turn it around. That's what Doge is for. You receive Doge, you send Doge. Do only good every day. So we'll see if CDC makes an appearance. Tomorrow, the CPI data will have an impact, or maybe not. It really doesn't matter on the crypto market. I mean, the stock market will go one way or the other depending on it, and crypto generally follows. But typically what we've seen before is if there is a little bit of a drop, it recovers right back. So I'm not worried about it. It got rejected at 27 cents last night. I know. It's right up there. We'll be back there. Whale alert, $750 million tokens sold. Okay, first, you copy pasted that. Second, Doge isn't a token. Third, there's no guarantee that that was really a sale. It could have just been a transfer. It could have been a blockchain transfer from one wallet to another, not a sale. So 3 things wrong with that, Max. 3 things wrong with that. So your copying and pasting method, just be you. Just be you. Just thinking out loud, let's say bull run never happens. Do you think this will lose people's trust in the 4-year cycles? Jay, There is something to that. The 4-year cycles have been consistent, but if this year it turns into something different and we don't see another run during this year, a lot of people are going to get disillusioned about investing in crypto. Yes. Another dump coming in tomorrow? I don't know, Kalina. I thought we were supposed to buy American. Yeah. I don't know what you mean. Oh, the Toyota? Yes, they're all made in US. Mine was made in like Kentucky. My car was made in Kentucky. It just has a Toyota name on it. Dumps are dips, dips are gifts. Sell on March 10th. Juan, what's happening on March 10th? The Tundra and Sequoia are made in Texas. Hit the like, be a little X, use your finger. I like that. He was rooting in there pretty good. Can't wait for Doge to hit a milli. You have to collect 1 million Doge. That's what you got to do, Blake. Got to have 1 million Doge in your bag. Sweden, 30% on crypto gains. Can only remove 20% on losses. Yeah, well, we can only claim like $3,500 on losses per year. You can carry it over, but it's like if you lost 100K, you can only claim 3,500. Now, if you won 100K and lost 100K in the same year, you pay 0 here. It all evens out. You can add all the losses to all the gains, and it's a big 0. That's why a lot of people do this so-called tax loss harvesting at the end of the year to try to zero out their tax liability. So we can do that here. Matt's not too sad. The bull market peak isn't happening yet. The longer it holds off, the more Dogecoin will be considered long-term capital gains. That's true. And the more you can buy on the dip, can continue to accumulate, and then you just don't sell that Doge, right? You sell the older Doge, and you keep the newer Doge. Hypothetically speaking, if we all buy now, we can make a difference. Hypothetically, it just doesn't work that way overall, though. Magic 8 Ball, will CDC pay his gambling debt this week? I don't think about that. CDC probably got taken out for not paying his debts. He could be in here like under another name and just laughing. He gave up his name. Just changed it to something else. Max, the consideration of Dogecoin as a potential means of payment for the impressive national debt of $33.9 trillion is gaining momentum. Max, be yourself, dude. Just be yourself. Be you. Potential means of payment. None of that is true, Max. Nothing of that is true. Nobody's considering Dogecoin for paying off the national debt. Did you hear what they were saying? It's all stable coins. That's all the US government is talking about is stable coins and maybe a Bitcoin reserve. And that's it. Now, I still have my hopes that Elon is going to do something with a blockchain, and maybe Doge blockchain might be used. I don't know. But the chance of that really happening, ugh. Your cousin works at X? He made me understand that X Money will be launched next Friday. Wow. Now that would put a jolt into things, wouldn't it? Doge could go on a big green candle if that happened. I haven't heard anything like that, Idris, so this is the first time I'm hearing that. Yeah, Max, just be yourself. Say what you think. I want to start using such pay when it launches. I'm afraid to use my long-term holdings on everyday transactions. First in, first out on Robinhood. I get that. It's still first in, first out, though. So if you've got some Doge you've held for more than a year, then it's a long-term capital gain. They got to fix that too. But I just don't know if Trump's going to go there with that kind of American regulation or something. I guess that'd have to be written into the taxes too. But I don't know how they're going to do that. Justin, any polls in the near future? Think about that. How can you trust crypto? What do you want to trust? There's nothing to trust. In the United States, we're trying to build some regulation. And I think that would be a good thing to get rid of pump.fun. Just get rid of it. Take out that whole meme token economy. Just take it out. CDC has heard about. Oh, Herman. Yeah, he was banned before the Super Bowl, so. Palantir rotate, Bob says. That Palantir train, it just went on a big run, so. Waiting for the Doge extension far. The Doge extension. Feel like Doge at 40 cents in December, 30 cents in January, 20 cents in February. Yeah, I know, right? It's got to stop sometime. But you're right. And we've been showing this on this blue channel, right? In the big picture, we're still in this blue channel. I didn't envision seeing something like that in the middle of a bull market. Not this long. So just waiting on that sentiment to turn around, and it's still pretty bearish with the whole economy thing, inflation, quantitative tightening still in place. It's still there. Peak is down. I know, paying $1 trillion a year in interest on the national debt. That's why we were headed to bankruptcy, and something had to be done. Even if it's just starting to pick at the bottom, it's just had to do something. Inside info on KrissPax Live. We can go to prison now. You learned it here first. But I'm on quote saying, hadn't heard that. So it didn't come from me. I'm clear. You guys, however, guilty. You're not going to buy the peak falling knife? What's the deal? The deal is we're trying to get crypto back to alt season so we can see more green candles again. Just every little thing. Jerome Powell, tariffs, whatever the latest thing is, just keeps us from enjoying the big green candles again. The Doge Department found out so much government waste, every American taxpayer could get millions of dollars in a tax refund. Well, I mean, in the end, Trump wants to cut taxes and be the president that cut taxes yet again. But he's got to go through this stuff first. The 42 Doge may be worth $42 million in 10 years. No, Max, I'm not going to quote that. Again, Dogecoin is not going to be, that's just somebody just making crap up. It's not real. I haven't gained anything but a few pounds. Will I be taxed? Oh, the Doge box. I might get a Doge box. Set up a node. I might do that. My Doge horizon from here is long term. I already took a big profit. Is that a giant bull flag? Not really. It's just a channel. It's just a channel. There's no real bull flag here. It's just a channel. Dems and reps have all done their part for little decades to make the US debt unsustainable. That is true. The Republicans, I mean, it's more recently been more the Democrats, but the Republicans have done their stuff in the past. Palantir, Bob, you're a fan. Thanks for the super chat. Hampus, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Very cute. AJ sold out a peak. More Doge. Harry, you like the popcorn? New emoji. New emoji. Dog popcorn. If we can't push out of 20 cents by the end of February, yeah, I mean, on the overall chart, right, we're in this little sideways thing right here after that tariff dump. Doesn't look as good on the Doge chart as the Bitcoin chart, because the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin has basically been sideways since the end of November. So that's looking, the Bitcoin chart does look a lot better. And we would hope that the Doge, these sort of drops would stop and we just follow Bitcoin now. There's a lot of emotion in trading, especially when it comes to the bears in the live chat here on KrissPax. We get a lot of that. I don't know what it costs to run a node. I'm going to look into getting a Doge box. We'll find out. Don't buy any Doge on Thursday. It would be too obvious. That'll be the 20th. They announce it on the 21st. Wait, isn't that the day Tim Stebbing is going to announce such pay too? Are we going to have a double announcement? We're going to have such pay and X money on the same day. What? Ooh. Kyle, Pi Network, come on, dude. They've been saying that kind of crap for years. If you buy into that, good luck. We will see in 4 years if Trump actually cuts the deficit. We'll see. Tesla stock, what did it do today? 328, down 6.5%. Now it's down to 326 after hours. Yeah, it's not good. A lot of people don't like Elon. The Democrats who held Tesla stock have been selling. Can you believe that? Sorry, Bob. My apologies. Doge, XYO, ETH, and a little bit of Bitcoin. That's not a bad portfolio. And today's not a good day for the Doge song, Susan. Doge will reach 50 cents next. Then I would play the All Eyes on Doge song a lot, 50 cents. Nope, not going to change my February prediction yet. It's only the 11th. We got this big stuff coming up. I'm not changing it at all. I was buying more H-bar, now mainly Doge, got to narrow it down. I'm never going to own 20 plus cryptos again. That's not happening. Raiden. Oh my God. That's too funny. Is Snoopy or Goofy a better crypto advisor? No. Snoopy's like a stable coin. Always there, can always count on him. Dogecoin equal $1 million? Yeah, probably not. Our plan is the plan is unchanged. Eventually prices will go up again. You'll eat the sole of my shoe live on Twitter. You know Dogecoin is not going to be on X money for a long time. Still holding, don't care. That's a good attitude, right? Yeah, it's Doge, right? Still holding, don't care. Get you a Locotech double barrel. A Locotech. Look into that. The AI summit pushed some AI memes up, and then the AI memes will fall again. Elon supports the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I don't think that. Trump is all about ending the war. Bulldozer averaging up. I don't know, Zoe. We're thinking about Such Pay, which will be a Dogecoin payment app. Thinking about X Money, possibly. Again, we won't have Doge on it at first, but it just at launching would probably help Doge's price. But we're waiting for the official announcements of this stuff. We don't know. It's a little down today because of Powell and continuing stablecoin talk in the US government. That's not helping. Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been holding well. We looked at the heat map. Look at Bitcoin. Again, it dumped down to take out this stuff. As I predicted, came back up, took out some new shorts. There's some stuff down here about 94K. Zoom it out a little bit. Hello. Here we go. Yeah, I don't see anything here that's going to, cause Bitcoin to go all the way down to like 91. I mean, there's some big ones here at the 94K level. Someday it's going to ride up and take out some of these shorts, but not yet. I have a feeling Visa and the established networks do not want non-centralized money. No, they would prefer it all just to be fiat. They don't want crypto. But they're going to do whatever makes them money. And if there's money involved and they can make it, I know, right? Elon sleeping on the floor. He works hard. And so does his team too. You work for Elon, you work hard. This talk of short squeeze for ETH, still not happening. Those are dreamers. They're dreaming. There's some immediate stuff here at around 28.17. Some bigger stuff up here at 33.46. Again, that's going back to end of January. Up further, there's probably some stuff. I don't know. You can look at a 3-month chart. How high does it go? I haven't looked at this before. I don't know what this is going to come up with. Calculating. Yeah, there's some big shorts up here. $17 million at 4,054. But again, it's just not going to go racing up like that based on short squeeze. Crypto really doesn't, we talk about it, but crypto really doesn't work like that. Elon insults Zelensky because he's been grifting off the US taxpayer. Putin hasn't. That's why he insults Zelensky, because he knows that they've been taking all this from the government. Even a lot of the weapons and stuff we send them, they then sell it and take the money. That's what Elon doesn't like. Wait for the dust to settle. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that all ends up. Again, I don't think the Ukraine has really played the game very well, especially with all the cheating, money grifting, everything they've done. Not great. Be rude. That's something Grok can do. Kriss, no. How did I start my side business? It was nights and weekends. Yep. It just nights and weekends. Once the kids got old enough where I didn't have to spend as much time with them, it gave me time to really start building business, but it was really just bit by bit. Like when you're designing websites, doing domain name investing, stuff like that, you can do that, anytime. And I was making those teaching products. It was just whenever I had time to start making them. Not really like building a business. It was just creating stuff, researching domain names to buy. Would have been better off just buying crypto, but 2018 was a tough year. It was a big bear market in crypto. And crypto, just nobody was buying crypto in 2018. And that's when I got into domain name investing. A lot of people were getting into it then. Little late to the game on that. I still made some money. My political commentary is cringe. Well, Greg, you know what? Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. I kind of like my political commentary, but thank you for your opinion. I've never even heard of you before, Greg. It's the first time I've ever seen a comment from you. So for that, you can go find someone else to insult. I'm pretty sure Trump and Elon are going to hand Ukraine terror to Putin. They both express a lot of favor with Putin. You know, when all the real news comes out about what's been going on over there, people will change their tune on that. But I get your point, but there's a lot more news there than you think, JJR. There's a lot more going on. Should we hit the dollar this cycle? Do you see it cruising all the way or ripping in waves? I don't know. Jay, it's really hard to talk about that right now. I mean, we're struggling at 25 cents. So there's no realistic cash out strategy for 90 cents or $1 right now. There really isn't. You see what's happening. It's like, the heat maps are CoinGlass. Just coinglass.com is the website for the heat maps. They have their little logo down here in the corner, CoinGlass. So they're free, don't cost anything. Coinglass.com. Elon doesn't play around. If he asks you a question, you better have a response or you're not going to make it. I've worked for some of those people before. Absolutely. And they require you to work. You got to know your stuff. There's no messing around. And a lot of people end up quitting because they can't handle it, which is, I mean, that's just life, right? Some businesses are like that. And I can picture all of Elon's businesses being like that. He wants smart people that are going to work. Visa aims to simplify international transactions by offering a unified currency. This eliminates the need for currency conversion for international users. So how do they do that? Idris, how do they do that? I mean, that's what we were talking about Dogecoin about, because Dogecoin is one Dogecoin regardless of what country you buy it in. So how's Visa going to do that? They have to do a currency conversion if you're using fiat. There's no other way. They have to do a currency conversion. The XRP army would say, "Hey, use XRP," right? Same thing. I just try and feed and water my Doge every day. We talked about the Binance dumping thing, and there seems to be more news coming out that maybe a lot of that was misinterpreted on what was actually happening. I don't know yet. I can't speak to it. Words of advice for starting a YouTube channel. Sure. Be consistent, be yourself. Only do a YouTube channel of something you love, because if you're just doing something you think will make money, but you're not invested in it, like mentally, you won't make it, because it takes a long time to build a YouTube channel from scratch. and you just have to keep at it and be consistent. And pick a good thing. I mean, you want to make it about something that you think other people will be interested in and can engage in. But that's the biggest thing, is you got to love it. If you're just doing something because you think it's going to make you money and you don't really like it or not really invested in it, you don't know much about it, that's not going to work. So there's my YouTube starter kit advice there. What is Elon getting out of the whole thing? Jay, I think at first I thought it was just his frustration with like SpaceX and how long it was taking to get regulations or getting permits to do what he needed to do. So I think there was some self-motivation there. And somewhere along the line, I think that morphed into, the more he was finding out, just through X really, finding out what was going on with taxpayer money. And he's a huge taxpayer in the United States, huge taxpayer. And the more he was finding out about that, he was like, okay, I've got a platform here. I can do something about this. So something like that. But that's just, one guy's opinion. Maybe I should just stick to Dogecoin. Maybe I should just stick to Doge. Like that guy said, whoever that was, just stick to Doge. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Ukraine anymore. Yeah, I really don't want to talk about Ukraine anymore. Visa and X would use Doge as the native currency to avoid the need for conversions and cross-border payments and propose a solution. Yes, that's right. They'd use Doge. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Can you imagine Visa using Dogecoin? I don't see it. I would love for it to happen. I don't know, though. But that's what I was saying, right? It wouldn't be fiat. It would be Doge. One Doge is one Doge. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. That would be awesome. If there's something brewing like that, wow. That's huge. Huge, huge. Power to the people, power to Doge. You build AI bots in your spare time? Yeah, I was just doing websites. Didn't make a lot of money building websites though, because it's labor. It's just labor intensive. But in your free time, it was fun for a while. Then it got to be a little bit of a drag, but it was all HTML, WordPress stuff. Started HTML. And then WordPress kind of took over, and then it was just customizing WordPress templates and stuff like that. That wasn't as much fun. But then they got so easy to make that people weren't really looking for websites anymore, because you could just get WordPress out of the box. Yeah, why isn't Greg president? Yeah, Frank, we watched it live. We watched the Elon Trump press conference live here. Good vibes. We like good vibes. Every once in a while, someone does have a counter argument, which is fine. If they just keep it civil, we can talk about it. I don't mind that. But most that have counter arguments are just assholes. That's just the way it goes. I don't know. I don't know how that is, but that's the way it is. We do talk about politics as they affect the financial markets. We do that here. But then it starts going down rabbit holes, and I'm like, yeah, I don't need to go down that. But yes, we'll talk about it if it affects the markets and it affects your crypto, and particularly if it affects the Dogecoin price. We're going to talk about it here. Holding on for dear life. I know. We had Five Guys last week, and it was kind of greasy. I don't know. We had Five Guys. Burger was a little greasy. I'll just say. I didn't think it was so greasy before. Maybe it's always been that way, but yeah, it was kind of greasy. I'm trying to eat healthier though. It's just like I was out with some others, and Miss KrissPax was busy doing her stuff, and we did Five Guys, and I was like, yeah, a little too greasy. And they give you like so many fries. Doge is going to 4 cents. Well, why is that, Each? Each. Why is Doge going to 4 cents? Please tell me. You come in here to my live stream and you say Doge is going to 4 cents. Tell me why, please. Doge is your largest crypto holding? Mine too. Even after selling as much as I did, it's still my largest crypto holding because I had to sell so much other stuff too. You're wishing for 40-cent Doge again? Remember the Rocky line, 43.5? Oh, I remember it well. We want that Rocky line again. I don't like this stupid white line here. I want the Rocky line. You've got dry powder on the side. Yili, that's up to you. The never backslide getting crowded. I really want to know why this Each guy said Doge is going to 4 cents. I want to know. But it happens every time. Someone says something like that, and I call them on it, and I never hear back. Nobody ever. We had one guy. We had one guy last week who actually had an argument. I don't remember what it was now, but they make tons of money on currency trading. Why would they change? That's about Visa, right? If they only get a fraction of the profit, doesn't make sense. I agree. I just don't see Doge, but everything you love is against YouTube policy. I know, right? I'm looking fresh today. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. MJ getting a lot of company, nagging them to death. I know. Ban land. They're in ban land. Hope we start seeing green days ahead. I thought we had one this morning. It was looking good, looking promising this morning. We were going up. This was looking so nice. Nope. Powell had to totally ruin that. The charts are reflective of the nose picking. Every time little X stuck his finger in his nose, how far did Doge drop? Oh. What happens when Doge dips 25% overnight in the entire system of bank payments? Yeah, it's not going to be Doge. I would love it to be, but Maybe Doge will be on the peripheral for some tipping thing or something, right? Where it's not huge dollars. I could see that. Maybe paying out like creators in Doge if they want to accept Doge. I could see that. That makes sense to me. But totally integrated into everything like with Visa. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, I'll take that, DB. Rock, paper, scissors. Who would win 2 out of 3? February 21st. That's nasty, okay? That's the next pump. It's February 21st. You've got a MasterCard linked to your crypto. Perhaps Visa will do the same. They've probably been looking into it. Institution like Visa will use XPR or XRP, you mean? Bootlicking. Darlinghouse is the expert bootlicker, isn't he? The irony of Doge is a joke, getting the last laugh. And Elon still likes it, so I think it's going to be involved somehow. It's possible to disagree without getting all heated. I think it is. And I'm just waiting for people. Kilmar, how are you? Do you want to speculate on what the Doge Miami team was lining up? Talked about baseball? I have no idea. It's got to be more than just a sponsorship. I mean, why would baseball be in there? I don't get it. Unless, like, you can buy, like, the Miami Marlin baseball tickets through SuchPay, right? Maybe. I mean, we saw it with Mark Cuban in the Dallas Mavericks, right? He was pushing Doge to buy Dallas Mavericks stuff. Never liked the Five Guys. Way too greasy. Yeah. Elizabeth Warren always talks like that, Aussie. She's my senator. Not. Oh. Oh, Vaughn. You are just such a joy to see here. Iach out, Vaughn by. You know, Manel, that's right. It is the most frustrating bull market ever. I will agree with that. It has not gone like anybody has predicted. We saw that early Bitcoin run. We saw this whole thing on the Trump election. Most of these alts got totally oversold, lost half their value. That's crazy. All right, guys, I have to finish up. So I will call it a stream here, guys. And we'll see where we are overnight. I'll be live again tomorrow. Yes, KrissPax live. And going to try and look in more of this X money stuff. See if I can root out some other good, juicy rumors. And the whole Binance thing, I don't care about that. It's like whatever. But definitely, yeah, SuchPay, X money. There's some good stuff in there. So hope everyone is well. We'll see you next time.
Dogecoin, which started as a complete joke, has like skyrocketed to not a joke anymore. It hit an all-time high of almost 10 cents yesterday, but it was so minuscule you wouldn't have understood why you have millions of shares.
Didn't Elon tweet that too?
And arguably the most entertaining outcome and the most ironic outcome would be that Dogecoin becomes the currency of Earth in the future.